So welcome to this video. My name is Alex. Now this video is about Masha and the bear and how this innocent looking children's program is actually being used to not only sell dark images and dark ideas to young children, but also to encourage paedophilia. So at the end of the video I'll show you how it's being used to encourage paedophilia, or to kind of encourage children to be more vulnerable to paedophiles. But I'll just start with this image. Now I just want to say that for about 8 or 9 months now I've been seeing Masha and the bear advertised very, very heavily on YouTube. Normally in YouTube there's a little kind of advertisement in the top right hand corner which advertises another video or something not related to what you're looking at. Now this is coming up all the time, and it has been for about the last 8 or 9 months. 99% of the time the advert in the top right hand corner is for Masha and the bear, and that's also the case on the adverts on many of the apps I use, that Masha and the bear comes up. Now this isn't related to anything, because my iPad is not used for my kids. I've got 4 kids and none of them use my iPad for children's programs. So this isn't related to anything that I've been watching on YouTube. I don't watch children's programs. My kids don't watch children's programs. It's just an advertisement. And maybe you've noticed this as well, that Masha and the bear is being advertised really, really heavily. And there's a reason for this. Now obviously you can see it's aimed at young children, little girls, well from 1 year old upwards, anything up to 10 or 11 or even older. This is aimed at girls because Masha is obviously a girl. She's the protagonist. And obviously this, in Masha and the bear, he's just like a bit of a bumbling bear who lives in the woods in a wooden house, and she goes out and helps him out. And it says in the description on Google for Masha and the bear that he's like a father figure to her. But he's not her father. But he's obviously meant to be a grown-up. He's meant to be an adult. And Masha hangs out with him a lot. Now, I'm just going to, before the end of the video where I talk about why this is being used to sell paedophilia or to encourage paedophilia, I want to look at these adverts which have been on YouTube. And look carefully. This is in Portuguese because I live in Portugal. But Masha and the bear, Vivo Halloween, means live the Halloween. Now these kind of adverts with these monsters in the background, if you look at the wallpaper and look at the monsters and look at the one-eyed creatures, these adverts were appearing way, way before Halloween. In the summer, in the beginning of the summer of last year, these adverts for Halloween were coming up. So they're not promoting Halloween because Halloween was months and months and months away. They're promoting darkness. And I'm going to show to you now how there is a very clear agenda in the children's media to sell darkness, fear, the occult, and even Satanism. And I'm going to prove it to you. And that Masha and the bear is part of this. Masha and the bear is intended to get the very young children. Because as they get older, as they get into pop music, then they'll start seeing Billie Eilish, and they'll start watching videos by other artists like Billie Eilish, like Melanie Martinez, and seeing programs on TV like The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So I just want to show you these 2 images which are recent adverts. You can see it here again, Live Halloween with Masha. And you can see the background is all monsters. You could say there were demons, demonic-looking creatures. And now look at Masha in this picture, because of course she's a girl. She's a sweet little girl, very young, 5 or 6 years old. But here she has turned sinister, turned dark. And this fits very well with the agenda in the pop industry to sell darkness to young girls. So you can see here she's looking very sinister and evil. This is a screenshot from Billie Eilish's video, Bury a Friend. And demonic possession is the main theme of this video and many other of Billie Eilish's videos. And we'll get to those in a minute. But this is Billie Eilish looking possessed in Bury a Friend. And notice she's got daggers hanging from her earrings, which is a symbolic symbolic sign in Satanism. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And again, here is her with possessed-looking eyes. And she's not alone here, because Melanie Martinez has also regularly displays these black eyes. Now, I'm not saying Billie Eilish and Melanie Martinez are responsible. I'm saying they are part of an industry which is using them to sell evil, sell Satanism, sell the occult and the darkness, spiritual darkness, to young girls, just like Masha is. So that's Melanie Martinez, and again, Melanie Martinez, some of her videos are really twisted, really dark, and really kind of weird and disturbing. And her music is aimed at young girls. She sings, her songs have got very childlike names like Wheels on the Bus and Sippy Cup, and kind of names which would appeal to very young girls. And she dresses like almost like a preteen. Even though she's about 27 years old, she dresses like a preteen. So her music is intended to be aimed at young girls, because they come across as kind of very innocent. But what she sings about and her videos are really twisted. She's recently done she recently did a full-length movie featuring her songs, and the movie was called K-12. And there's so much dark, sinister, and occult imagery in that. And again, it's just an example of her. She's being used to sell the occult, Satanism, and evil to young girls. Look at her here. That's her with blood in her mouth. She's eaten. I think she's eaten like I think it was a cookie with a cookie which resembled a human body, or a cookie which resembled herself. And when she cut it, the blood came out. Or this may be from the Alice in Wonderland video, where she ate a little creature with waggling legs, and the blood was coming out of the middle of this creature. But just look at her hair. Demonic horns. Now again, I'm not saying that Melanie Martinez is a Satanist, and I'm not saying she's done this herself. I believe that her and Billie Eilish and many other artists like Kesha, Halsey, many others as well, are being used by the industry to reach young girls and sell them evil, darkness, and Satanism. Again, this is another example. Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. It's all about Satan. It's not even hidden. In the film, you'll see that the witches are always saying, "Hail Satan," or "Praise Satan," and Sabrina is meant to sell her soul to the devil on her 16th birthday. And eventually she does. And there's a lot of darkness in this. It's not even remotely hidden. You know, it's a lot of throat slitting, a lot of cannibalism, really a lot of orgies. It's all about Satanism and about how great Satanism is and how empowering it is for young girls. So the message is to young girls that the darkness is appealing. Just look at these videos, that it's appealing, that there's some kind of weird, twisted pleasure about the darkness, even though there's not, you wouldn't say that these look like pleasurable images, but yet these are images which are being sold to young girls, which are getting into their pop videos, and now on one of the most popular young female programs on Netflix. And this is aimed at 13-year-olds and upwards, and of course younger children will be watching it too. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, all about demonic possession. Now listen to what Google says about The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Parents need to know that Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is a dark drama, very, very dark drama by the way, about a teen girl with magical powers. Sabrina in particular is tough but kind. So she's kind. She stands up for herself and for others against intense opposition, and she's a great role model for teens and tweens. Well, if you know what a tween is, then you'll know it's younger than teens. Tweens are like 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. So they're saying she's a great role model for teens and tweens. So let's have a look at Sabrina. Let's have a look at this great role model. There she is. That's Sabrina, possessed by the devil, with arrows in her body. And this is her summoning the devil, summoning the Dark Lord, letting herself be an instrument of evil. This is her when she is possessed and she's saying, "I am the Dark Lord's sword." So she's saying, "I'm a tool of the devil." This is the great role model for teens and tweens that Netflix is wanting your children to watch. Please be aware of this. there is something very, very sinister happening in young children, especially female children media, aimed at young girls. This idea that Satanism is empowering, Satanism is cool, that young girls belong in satanic organizations. They belong with Satan. And look at the toys they're selling to young girls. These are called bleeding edge B-goths. So it's kind of selling the gothic scene to young girls. But the gothic scene is basically just the entry point to the satanic realm, the satanic scene, where lots of girls, young girls, that get involved in Satanism through the gothic scene. They get roped into some very dark things. They get roped into some very dark scenes. And so now children's dolls are being used to sell this scene, this darkness, to young girls. And it's about impurity. It's about what's the word? Using yourself as just not respecting your body, using yourself as to sell sexuality and to kind of get into the darkness. And just look at the images, look at the face, look at the eyes of these girls, look at the dress. You know, these dolls are being sold to young girls, along with all this pop music and all these ideas of Satanism and the darkness. And here's some more. You can see the eyes, look in the eyes, they've been crossed out. And that symbolizes being dead on the inside. And that's what Satanism does to people. Satanism actually, it's the death of the soul. When young people get involved in Satanism, it's the death of their soul. It's the most tragic thing on this planet. And so for them to be selling Satanism to young girls is really, really evil. This is one of the most evil things that's happening on the planet at this moment in time. You can see the crosses on some of the dresses around the necks of two of the dolls. And just look, these, just like the Billie Eilish, with her eyes looking possessed, these dolls are meant to look like they are possessed also. They're not dolls to encourage children to embrace the light, embrace peace and joy and love and happiness, embrace God. Quite the opposite. They're dolls to encourage young girls to embrace darkness, the dark scene, the evil scene, which is also the goth scene. And here's another one. Just notice the crosses in the eyes. You're seeing this a lot at the moment in the pop industry, in kids' programs, that the eyes are crossed out. And that means the soul is dead, because the eyes are the window to the soul. So when there's a cross in the eyes, it's symbolic that the soul is dead. And that's what happens when someone sells their soul to the devil. The soul dies. And so there's a big agenda to get young girls into Satanism. And Billie Eilish is leading the charge, or she's being used to lead the charge. I do not believe she has decided to do this herself. I believe she's being used by the industry as just a marketing tool to get to young girls and sell them Satanism. Here she's wearing the Exorcist t-shirt. This is, of course, a drawing from Vogue magazine, but she's promoting these kind of things. And if you just look, this was a couple of years ago. She was following 666 people for quite some time. And of course, 3 6s is the number of the devil. So she's not hiding the fact, and she wasn't hiding the fact, that she's into the devil. I mean, even The Exorcist is a film about demonic possession. And so then when she started to become really famous, then she stopped following 666 people because she didn't want it to be given away. But even her music, all the good girls go to hell. The first line of this song is, "My Lucifer is lonely." So Billie Eilish is very much promoting Lucifer, the devil. All the good girls are going to go to hell. So the message is there, don't be good, but be bad. Because good girls go to hell, so you need to be bad. It's a very clever play on words to trick the young mind to thinking that it's actually better to be bad. And of course, we know where bad girls go. And this is a scene from Bury a Friend. Again, this is a symbol of demonic possession. You see it in many horror films, and it's called the Arch of Hysteria, and it's used to symbolize someone being possessed by demons, by evil spirits. So that's from Billie Eilish's video, Bury a Friend. Now look, I just want to prove it to you conclusively that Billie Eilish is being used to sell Satanism to young girls. Look at that hand symbol, okay? Just look at it very carefully on both hands. And notice on her wrist, just there, the chains of the upside down crosses. So there you've got the hand symbol and all the upside down crosses around her wrist. Now this is a satanic church, specifically a satanic church from Colombia. Okay, and now look at the hand symbol at the back. That's the satanic hand symbol that Billie Eilish was doing. It's called the Manu Cornuto. It's a symbol of allegiance to the horned god, which is the devil. And look at the upside down crosses, okay? So many people know this already, but the upside down cross is the symbol that Satanists use to show that they're completely opposed to Christianity. They oppose everything that Christianity stands for. And it's very, very dark, Satanism. It's a very, very dark belief system. The religious practices of those who subscribe to Satanism are very dark and cruel and evil, essentially. So you've got the satanic hand symbol on the statue and the upside down cross. And again, just to reiterate, on the left we've got Anton LaVey, kind of like the main man who made Satanism popular in America in the 60s and 70s. And again, you can see his hand. That's the satanic hand symbol. It means that his allegiance is with the horned god, which is Satan. And again, on the right-hand side, that is a satanic priest, again, with his fingers and hand showing his allegiance to the devil. And this is from the book of Anton LaVey. The satanic salute, horned hand or Manu Cornuto, is a signal of allegiance between members of Satanism to their horned god. Okay, so I've just shown you there. It's clear that this hand symbol on the statue means allegiance to the devil, okay? And also the upside down cross, which we see on Billie Eilish's wrist there. So let's look at how often Billie Eilish does this hand symbol. And there is something very dark about the way she looks at the camera. So this hand symbol, she's always doing this hand symbol. Why? Because she is in the hands of Satan. She's given herself to Satan. And even in the lyrics to Bury a Friend, she says, "I sold my soul and I just can't say no." She admits she sold her soul. She sings about Lucifer. It's not even hidden. So I just want to make it clear that Billie Eilish is promoting Satanism. And you have to bear in mind that her fan base are generally 10-year-olds and upwards. So she's got a young fan base that go all the way up to 20s and beyond. But she's got a lot of young girls following her and looking up to her. She is their idol. She is their hero. They love her. They're devoted to her. She has a very strong fan base who really do worship her. And she is selling and promoting Satanism to them. This is her album cover. And again, look at the eyes. Demonic possession. So what is the relevance of this album cover? The album's called When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? What's the relevance of this album cover? Well, again, it symbolizes demonic possession, and it also mirrors the story and the image of The Exorcist, which was a Hollywood film, I think in the late 70s, about a young girl who gets possessed by demons. And she's in her bed, and you can see the eyes are the same, the white eyes. So this is the message of this album cover. It's about demonic possession, and demonic possession occurring at night time. And this is when people are most vulnerable to kind of dark messages and demonic entities. It's at night time. So if that's not clear to you, if it's not clear to you from her bracelet with the upside down crosses and the hand symbol she's constantly doing, and the cover of her album, and just the imagery that she portrays in all of her videos, and the 666 followers. I mean, if that's not obvious to you that she is promoting Satanism, then there is nothing more I can say about that, because it's so clear and it's not hidden. And this is reaching young girls. And again, look, see the hand symbol. This is Disney Junior music. And again, this is being promoted, this satanic hand symbol. This idea of Satanism being cool is being promoted to young girls. And again, of course, she's a vampire and she's got a skull guitar. So there's just this imagery of death, darkness, evil. Although it's subtle here. It's not as dark as it is with Billie Eilish. But this is a message reaching young girls. And it says, "Ghoul Girls Rock." And this, see again, notice the hands of this character. This is a character from, what's it called now? Monster High, I think it's called. Monster High, which is a cartoon which has been on TV for many years, over 10 years, for young girls, and it's all about monsters who go to high school. And it's aimed at females, young girls, because all the characters, all the protagonists are young girls. So it's watched predominantly by young girls. And again, it promotes evil, it promotes Satanism in very subtle ways. It just gets them used to this idea of the hand symbols. It just gets them used to this idea of things being a little bit weird. Monster High, new ghoul at school. And again, you've got the skulls. It's subtle and it's not too strong, because you would probably see parents protesting if it was too dark. If this cartoon aimed at children was too dark and too evil, they wouldn't let their kids watch it. So it has to be subtle to start with. But it just gets them on the pathway. It just gets them going in the direction where they think darkness is cool, evil is cool, ghouls and monsters and vampires are cool. And you see in this image, she's kind of reaching out to the viewer and saying, come with me, let me show you my realm of darkness. And this is the slogan for Monster High: be yourself, be unique, be a monster. So young girls are being encouraged to be a monster. Why would they be trying to encourage young girls to be a monster? Because there is an agenda to sell demons, to sell the demonic realm, sell Satanism to young girls and get them thinking that monsters, demons, ghouls, evil, demonic possession is cool. As you see all of this. These are all things. This is the most popular teenage girls program on Netflix, and she is possessed by demons. She has given herself to the devil, and this is being promoted to young girls all over the world, and she is a great role model for teens and tweens. Now, you know, this is very, very serious, because demons are not just made up. And now we have Masha the bear. So you've seen all the other images I've shown you about how Billie Eilish and Sabrina and Melanie Martinez are promoting this dark side. Masha the bear is doing the same thing, but this time to much, much younger girls. See, Masha and the bear reaches children very, very young. At the most youngest age, when they're ready, at the very earliest stage that kids can watch TV, then they're watching Masha and the bear. And just look at the background, look at the monsters and the ghouls. You see, they're selling evil, they're selling darkness to kids, because there is a huge agenda to pull the youth of today into a direction of darkness and evil. And that's a whole nother video. And if you want to understand why this is happening, why is there an agenda to pull young people in the direction of darkness and evil, then watch the video linked in the description to this one. The video you should watch is called Exposing the Antichrist Agenda. So it's an Antichrist agenda, and the idea is to reach all the young people and sell them evil, sell them darkness. And there's a specific reason why. So if you want to know why, just watch the video linked in the description. So again, that's Masha the bear. And again, this is the same message. Masha and the bear live the Halloween. So it's saying live life as Halloween. And again, I took these as screenshots from my YouTube many months ago, maybe in June, April, May or June or July. And it's saying live Halloween, live in Halloween, just like the monsters. Like the Monster High, the girls are living Halloween because they're monsters. They live in this realm of darkness. They live in this realm of evil because they're monsters. And the media wants your young girls to live in that realm of darkness. They want your young children to be monsters, to think of themselves as monsters who belong in this realm of evil and darkness. And again, there's another video in the description linked called How the Media is Selling Satanism to Your Children. And you should watch that video, watch the 2 videos in the description. And then it'll be clear to you, you'll be left in no doubt that this is indeed occurring. So obviously, I mentioned that I was going to tell you how Masha and the Bear is being used as a paedophile program to encourage paedophilia and to encourage young girls to be kind of open to paedophilia. And that sounds extreme, but you have to understand that the bear is seen by Masha as very, very friendly, very safe. He's very kind of non-threatening and almost a lovely creature, you know, and she feels safe with him. But on Google, it talks about it talks about the bear being a fatherly figure. But of course, he's not her father. So he's meant to represent a kind of a grown man, because there are no other human beings in this program. There are no adults, human beings in this program. They're all animals. And so he's meant to represent a human male. And she spends all her time at his house, and she feels safe with him, and he looks after her and does nice things for her. But he is not her father. He is a fatherly figure. But look at this. You can now buy on the internet Masha the Bear costumes. So just think about this. Think about paedophiles. Think about how they would get young children to feel safe with them. Well, considering the popularity of Masha and the Bear, which is super popular among young children, dressing up as Masha would probably be a very safe bet. And so you can now buy Masha the Bear costumes all over the internet. And of course, the children, the little girls, will come running to you because they love Masha. So I believe that Masha the Bear is being used to encourage young girls to feel safe with this kind of father figure that's not their father, and to want to be close to him, want to kind of be with him. And I believe that these Masha the Bear costumes are being used by paedophiles to make the young girls kind of want to be with them, to encourage young girls to want to be close to them. And here's another one. But there's one more thing I want to talk about that has convinced me that Masha the Bear is selling paedophilia or encouraging paedophilia and being used for that kind of purpose, which is there's an episode called Little Miss Sunshine. And at the beginning of that episode, there's loads of little frogs swimming around in a lake. And the frogs are all kind of childlike. They all have these childlike faces. And there's one little frog that doesn't have a partner. So it's mating season. And you can see it for yourself if you watch Little Miss Sunshine. Masha and the Bear, Little Miss Sunshine. And it's mating season. And all these frogs are swimming around looking for partners. And there's one little female frog. And she keeps going to all the other little frogs, but they all have partners. So she's looking for a mate, and then she doesn't find one because all the other frogs have been taken. But along comes Masha, the bear, in a big what they called a frog suit. They're a big wetsuit, but it's green, and he looks like a frog. And she sees him. So this little tiny frog, which is very much resembles a child in the way she communicates and presents herself. This little tiny frog falls in love with Masha, who's dressed like a giant frog, and she follows him around, and she blows him kisses, and she wants to be with him. She wants to be his mate. Okay, and then a little bit later on in the episode, all the frogs gather on this little boat. Masha the Bear has found this little boat, and all the frogs are gathering on this boat, and they all look like children, so they're all meant to represent children because they have this childish air about them. They're not meant to be adults. They're little kind of children frogs, and they're all there, and they're all lining up to give Masha the Bear a kiss. So it's not Masha the Bear. Masha's the girl, of course. They're all lining up to give the bear a kiss. And Masha tells the frogs, the little girl who's Masha, tells the frogs, okay, you have to kiss all these little frogs now. And you have to do it with passion. You have to do it with feeling. You have to do it with emotion. So she's telling him to really kiss these little frogs with passion. And they're lining up, and they really want to be kissed. And he picks each one up one by one and kisses them all, and they all swoon. And they all kind of fall in love with Masha, with the bear. And this really, when I watched it, I thought, this is so clear to me. This is so clear that it's very subtly suggesting to children that to fall in love with adults, that adult men are desirable, that there is there's something right about falling in love and kissing an adult male who's not your father. So remember that the bear is not Masha's father. He's just a bear that she befriends in the woods. Yet she becomes really close to him. She almost becomes like a mother figure, and he becomes like a father figure to her. And they're very, very close. And sometimes she sleeps in his cabin. But he is not any relative to her. He's not her father. And she feels great love for him. So I believe that Masha and the bear is being used to encourage children, and little girls especially, to feel drawn to older men who are not their father, and especially older men who might be wearing this Masha the bear costume. Can you imagine a paedophile who picks up a little girl and is wearing a Masha the bear costume, or a Masha and the bear costume? And what will be going through that little girl's mind is, this person is safe because he looks like the bear in Masha and the bear. So it's very, very subtle, very, very subtle. And of course, many people will disagree with me and think that, this is just paranoia. But just consider, and maybe you've seen it yourself, how prolific and how heavily Masha and the bear is being advertised. It's being advertised like nothing I've ever seen on the internet before. It's on every single YouTube page. When I log into YouTube, it's always there in the top right-hand corner. And nearly every app that I use, they're advertising Masha and the bear. It's really heavy promotion. And I believe it's because there is this agenda, not only to turn girls, get them interested in the darkness, but to encourage little girls that it's normal and it's safe to get close to a grown man, to feel drawn even to a grown man. Because if paedophiles, and paedophilia is much more widespread, of course, than we ever thought it was, it goes into some very high and powerful places. If paedophiles can convince young girls to actually want them, that to convince young children that the older man is desirable and that the young girl wants to be with him, then that does half the work for them. That the young girl is not wanting to escape and run away and sees him as the enemy and sees him as a threat, but the young girl actually sees the paedophile as desirable and she wants to be close to him. Well, that's what I believe Masha and the bear is being used for, and I believe it is so widespread because this is the whole agenda. It's to reach out to the younger population, turn them towards the darkness, get them interested in evil, in Satanism, in the occult, and get them interested in sexual deviance at a very, very early age. Now that may sound extreme, but if you've been researching the media for as long as I have, which is over 17 years, and looking at the messages that's been pouring into the mainstream, especially children's media, then you'll see that what I'm saying is actually not extreme at all. It actually fits in with lots of other stuff. So I'd just like to ask you to watch the 2 videos, or there might be 3, linked in the description, and they'll give you a clearer idea of why all of these things are not so far-fetched, and how young children are being preyed upon, and how we need to protect our young children, protect our own children from the media. There is so much darkness reaching our kids in the media, in the pop industry especially. Pop is not just kind of innocent entertainment anymore. Pop music is dark, it's adult, it's crude, it's pornographic, it's satanic. So be careful of what your children watch. Whatever your children want to watch or listen to something, you watch it first and read the lyrics to the pop songs that they're listening to, and investigate for yourself and ask yourself, what is the agenda here? What are these things trying to sell your children? What is the message reaching your children's eyes and ears? Because there are some very, very dark messages reaching millions and millions of children. And the only one who can protect our children is us. because our children are getting addicted to the internet and they're thinking all these things are normal. They're thinking the darkness, the occult, Satanism is kind of normal because they're seeing it everywhere now. They're seeing it in all different avenues, in their books and magazines, in their dolls, on their TV programs, in their pop music. So they're getting to think that the darkness, that the occult, that Satanism is normal and acceptable. And they're being desensitized to some very, very dark and horrific messages. And there is a reason for this. So please watch the videos in the description and you will have a much greater understanding of what this is all about. And please be aware of what your kids are watching and do whatever you can to protect them from some of these very, very dark messages in the media. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I wish you well and God bless you.